The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Once-ler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Once-ler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkim on top of his store. He lurks into his lurkim, cold on the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of Muffered mold. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Then he pulls out the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his gravelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your cards alone. And slop! Down slops the whimper my phone to your car, and the old Once-ler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish piece up his nose. Now I tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, with a long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swammy swamps rang out in space. One morning I came into his glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffle trees, the bright-colored stuffs of the truffle trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffle fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those truffle trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as this. The touch of their tops was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffle tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I kneaded a thin knit. The instant I finished, I heard the gazzoop. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees where the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you made out of my truffle tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thinnit. The thinnits find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. and there is no one on earth who would buy that full thinit. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at the minute a clop came along and he thought that the thinit I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy, you can never tell what people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Once-ler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Niche, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Once-ler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thinits, just as busy as we used to the sound of the chopping of the truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker. We were making thinits 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Once-ler, felt sad, and I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I mostly truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thinits I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, and to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thinits, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing my pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed, he sneezed and he snuffled and he snuggled, he sniffed. Once-ler, he cried with a craffleless crook. Once-ler, you're making such smugulous smoke. My poor swamp swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smug in his throat. And so said the Lorax, please pardon my cough, they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smug you smugged up around here. What's more, snapped Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about gloppity-glop. Your machineries chug on day and night without stop, making gloppity-glop. Also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Once-ler man, you! You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. I hear things are just as bad up in Lake Erie. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle trees into things which everyone needs. At that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree, and then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more thinnits, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath that bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. But that was long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away through the years while my buildings have fallen apart. I'm worried about with all of my heart. But now, says the Once-ler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, called the Once-ler. He let something fall. It's a truffle seed, and it's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffle seeds, and the truffle trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffle, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it with fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from the axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all his friends may come back. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss.